thanks for joining me for Morning Coffee with Karen, the wedding edition. Yay! So before we get started, there's something new that I want to add to my Morning Coffee with Karen videos, and I can't believe I didn't think of this before, but for Mother's Day, my daughter Sarah got me this coffee candle, and it says on it, blah, 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 coffee. So I thought that was absolutely appropriate for our morning coffee whip and chats. So what I'm going to do is every morning coffee video that I do, I'm going to light this candle. Let's get this open here. Oh my gosh, you guys, it smells amazing. It's a soy candle. She has a friend that makes these here in California somewhere, I believe. I'll try to get some information and maybe put it in the down in the description box. But for now, let's get this lit. Oops, burned myself there. Okay, there we go. Let's take a minute and take a deep breath. Send out lots of love and let this candle represent lots of prayers and positive thoughts for anybody in our community that needs them. So I'm going to set this over here somewhere safe. And we'll let that burn during the whip and chat. So this is the Morning Coffee Wedding Edition. So let's talk about this coffee cup that I'm going to be using. I put a piece of white paper to help you see it. So these are the adorable mugs that they made for the wedding. Everybody had their, adult beverages, their lemonade, their tea, whatever it was, their coffee. Personally, of course, I had coffee, and I did have some lemonade. But we had them, when we went up to the beverage bar, we picked up a mug. And on the front it says Adam and Alexis, May 25th, 2019, has a cute little purple and silver bow. And on the back it has a spot to write your name. Mine did say Mom in gold lettering, but it rubbed off, so I'll have to fix that. But these are absolutely adorable. So let me pull out I put a piece of white paper in it to help you see it, because without the paper, yeah, it was going to be kind of tough to see. So let me pull out the paper and pour myself a cup of coffee. And let's get this video started. Little sip there. So this piece that I'm going to be working on this morning, that I'm going to be finishing hopefully, is the travel whip that I took with me to the wedding. Let's see if I can get the whole thing in frame. That's pretty good. So this is my Amazon piece that I purchased, that I absolutely just loved the colors. I took this with me. I worked on it while I was there. I finished all of it except for this butterfly, and I saved that for our whip and chat and brought it home with me. This has been a lot of fun to work on. I've really enjoyed it. So yeah, this is what we're going to do today. I thought it was appropriate to finish it in this video and finish it up with you guys. So I'm going to pause the video for just a second, adjust my camera angle so you can see what I'm doing a little bit better, and we'll get started. So grab your whips and a cup of coffee or a beverage and join me. Okay, so I've got myself all ready here. I did want to show you when I took this whip with me. This is the little tiny container that I took my drills in. This piece was 30 by 40, so I didn't need anything very big. And what I did was I actually was able to use one of these very small containers And then I just took my drills in little Ziploc baggies, and as I used each color up, it was super easy to just, pour in. This only held 12 colors. This did have 18, so with 6 of the colors, I did work directly out of the bags, but it worked fine, and I really enjoyed it. So let's get busy dropping some drills, hopefully on our canvases and not on the floor. All right, I'm going to take another sip of my coffee. And then I'm going to tell you about the wedding. At the end of this video, there will be some photos of the wedding. Not a whole lot. I don't want it to take forever for you guys to get through. Maybe about, I don't know, somewhere between 6 and 12 photos. I'll put right at the end. I did promise some of the YouTube creators like Shanda Panda and Laura Law from Laura Law's Crafts, that I would post some photos after the wedding. So ladies, these photos are for you. I cleaned up really good, but let me tell you, it cost a pretty penny for me to look that good. So the wedding was absolutely amazing. I don't even know where to start. First of all, I did take my granddaughter, Ella, with me. She's 5, and I was a little bit nervous about traveling with her, a little bit nervous about having her for an entire week. Her mom was with us for, I think, about 3 days. But, she was an absolute angel the entire week. She was such a good girl. Everybody just kept talking about how good she was, and I really enjoyed having her with me. Yesterday was my daughter Sarah's 34th birthday, and I've been back for almost 2 weeks now. The wedding, I haven't been back for 2 weeks, but the wedding was almost 2 weeks ago. It'll be 2 weeks ago tomorrow. I meant to make this video a lot sooner, but I was just tired, you guys. Just the whole thing really wore me out. But I kind of lost my train of thought here. That's okay. I'll find it again. But anyway, when I came back, I was a little bit tired, but Ella and I, a lot of family were there for the wedding, of course. So when Ella and I arrived on a Wednesday, my brother and his wife were there, so I got to spend a lot of time with them, with one of my nephews, and there was a lot of stuff going on. A lot of, and this is pretty typical when a wedding happens, a lot of partying, a lot of late nights, a lot of family fun, bonfires, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday after the wedding. So we were up quite late every night, so I was pretty exhausted when I got home, but the wedding was absolutely beautiful. They got married in a barn on a beautiful property, absolutely beautiful venue. They were going to get married outside, but it had been pretty rainy the day before. And so they were, even though it didn't rain that day, it was a little bit chilly, and they were worried about the grass being wet and the girls getting their dresses wet and all of that kind of stuff. So they ended up deciding, even though it wasn't raining, to go ahead and move the ceremony inside. But it was absolutely gorgeous. It was, there was a lot of candles burning, and yeah, it was romantic and intimate. About 80 people. I think the great majority of those 80 were family, which made it really nice. The ceremony absolutely, positively just came off without a hitch. It started on time. They had a family friend who got ordained to be able to do their ceremony for them. And it was short and sweet and funny, and it was absolutely amazing. During the entire wedding, everybody got along. There were no problems, no issues. The brides, there were points where she was a little bit nervous, but she absolutely positively was not a bridezilla. My son got a little bit worked up a couple of different times. In fact, on the day of the wedding, after the ceremony, my son was so worked up that his sister had him take a Xanax to chill him out a little bit, so that helped. But, other than that, it was just absolutely pleasant. I had an amazing time, spending all that time with family, being able to spend the time with my 3 kids. And I think that was the most amazing thing. It's awesome that they had such a beautiful wedding, and that they're married now, and Alexis has become part of our family. But for me, the entire thing was about family, spending time with my kids. And my son, my older son that lives in Alabama and is in the military, was there, and he just absolutely made the entire weekend about his little brother and was supportive and did whatever needed to be done. My daughter Sarah was one of the bridesmaids, so, she took the bride out on a, what is it called? Bachelorette night, the night before the wedding. And they actually took me with them, so that was kind of fun to be included. I don't know how often mother-in-laws are included in the bachelorette party, but I was, so that was nice. We had a lot of fun. They did karaoke, and we didn't stay out too late, but that was really cool. But, just that family thing. A lot of the family that was there was actually, other than my brother and my nephew, trying to think who else, 2 of my very closest friends came. So that was nice. But other than that, the family was mostly my ex-husband's family. But what's so wonderful about that is they love me and support me, just as much as they ever did when we were married. So even though my ex-husband and I are no longer married, his family is still my family. So just being able to see everybody and spend time, and the experience with my children was just amazing, and I think something that I really, really needed. Let me take another little sip of coffee. At one point, let me start the story here. So after the ceremony, when after the bride and groom had come in, and after dinner, if I remember right, the time for the first dance with the bride and groom came, and the DJ had said that about halfway through the song that they wanted everyone to join them. Well, when people got up and started dancing, I think maybe the bride's parents, and, of course, I can't remember if it was my daughter or my oldest son. Anyway, they started dancing together, and, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, oh, this is feeling a little bit awkward, because I'm not married, didn't have a date there or anything like that, and it's like, oh, I wish I could, participate in this dance, but you know, this is just the way it is. So I was watching my son dance with his new bride, and my two children, Sarah and Andy, dancing together. And then all of a sudden, of course, right at about that time, Andy turns around and comes and gets me, and he says, "Mom, I want you to know this was my idea and not Sarah's." So he grabbed me, and I was able to dance at my son's wedding. And then a little bit later in the evening, at some point, my son Adam grabbed me to dance, and we were dancing together. Some wonderful pictures were taken of Adam and I dancing, but the really nice thing about that is when he was dancing with me, at one point he asked me, he said, "Mom, did you feel honored tonight?" He said, "It's important to me that you felt honored and respected." And I told him, I said, "Yes." I said, "I told you a long time ago that, you know, this wedding in my mind was primarily about Alexis and her mom. Mother dreams of her daughter's wedding, you know, forever. From the time she's born, sometimes from prior to her being born. And that's, I gotta clear my throat. That's a very important thing for a mother and daughter. So I wanted to participate, but stay enough in the background that, you know, they got to have their day. But I still felt honored and included, and I knew that me being there was very important to my son. So, and then, like I said, some wonderful pictures were taken, but it was just so heartwarming to me because when he was a baby, you know, I think all babies do this, but him especially, when he was about 3 months old, he would look, I would be holding him, and he would look up at me with this look of just pure love, and just the sweetest look on his face. And he would look up at me like this. Well, while he was dancing with me, he actually, oh, I gotta clear my throat again. Hang on. He actually was looking down on me, and I was looking up at him. He's a big kid. He's grown up to be quite tall. And as I'm looking up at him, he has that same look on his face, just a look of absolute love. And that really warmed my heart that him and I were able to share that moment. But also, you know, if he can look at his mother like that, you know, hopefully he'll be able to look at Alexis like that too. He's a very loving kid. I'm very hopeful that they have a long, very happy life together. So that was a moment that I will never forget as long as I live. There were a lot of moments I will always remember and treasure, but yeah, that was absolutely amazing. So after the wedding and was all over, we did, like I said, we did go back, and there was a bonfire, and you know, lots of fun was had by everyone. And the next day after the wedding, I had planned to go from one side of the state to the other, and spend about 3 days visiting with friends and family on that side of the state. And I was going to go back with one of my really good friends that was there. But again, you know, with that whole family theme that was going on, my ex-husband's some of his family were having a barbecue that Sunday, and my son Andrew and my daughter Sarah, Andy told me, he said, "Mom, why don't you stay and spend some more time with us and go to the barbecue. And then I will drive you back because he was leaving from the other side of the state from the major airports, SeaTac Airport. So he was going to be driving over there anyway. So they talked me into staying for an extra day. Him and I had planned on leaving sometime in the afternoon, but we were having so much fun at the barbecue that we didn't end up leaving till about 9 o'clock. Got to my friend's house about 2 o'clock in the morning. He had to leave on his flight at 5, and my friend's house is very near the airport, so it all worked out kind of perfect, but we were both exhausted, let me tell you. I was very tired the next day. Of course, little Ella went with me, and we spent 3 days at my friend's house. I was able to go and spend one night on the farm with my dear, dear, dear friend Eric. And when I moved, that's where I lived before I left Washington. And I say but it was basically mine and Eric's dog, Willie. Able to spend some time with him. I miss him a great deal. I miss the dog and Eric a lot, but was able to see Willie. Ella really liked that. She loves Willie. So we spent one night there on the farm and 2 nights with my friend, and then we got on the plane and we came home. And let's see, is there anything else I want to tell you? That story ended kind of abruptly, didn't it? Yeah, it was just absolutely amazing. Like I said, very, very tiring, and I'm very wore out. I'm getting old, so yeah, that was the wedding. So isn't this turning out beautiful? Yeah, I'm almost done. Let's see, what color was that I was just working on? I don't even know. Kind of lost track. C, okay. So I came back, and I am a auditor for the company I work for, and I came back to a 49 file audit and was in the middle of trying to get that completed, get caught up on checking all the documentation and that had been created in all the 78 files. That's my caseload. When we got a medical records request for another 9 files. So I think that's another thing that's got me really wore out is doing audits and, just trying to get caught up on my everyday work is a lot. And it's a lot of pressure. Those audits have to be done in a timely fashion. And you just feel like doing a 49 file audit is huge, huge. I think 19 shipping boxes worth of files we packed, something like that. Just reams and reams and reams of paper. But anyway, yeah, I feel guilty about the trees we kill. But, that's just a lot of work, and you just feel like that's hanging over your head. So we did complete all of those files yesterday. And as of yesterday, not only are those audits completed, but I also have completed all of my documentation and compliance checks. And I am caught up and current. So I think that will help my energy start to return, not feeling so drained during the day. So that's a good thing. All right, so I think at this point I didn't finish this, as you can see, but I'm really close. I'll probably finish it tonight, just a couple more. I probably need to stop before this clip runs out. And it is now about 8:30, so I do need to get ready for work. So let's go ahead and blow out our candle. Safety first. And I'm going to go ahead and say thank you for joining me. If you're new here, welcome. If you're a regular, thanks so much for your support. Go ahead and like this video if you would like to. And if you're not subscribed, I would love to have you do so. You can join me on my Facebook group, Diamond Painting Path Project, which will give you lots of updates and fun stuff about the paintings that the residents and I are working on here at the Family Homeless Intervention Shelter, and just have some fun. But be sure to post what you're doing too. We'd love to hear about it. We want to know what you're doing on your path. So that's it, guys. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one. Enjoy your day. Bye.